All right, so we'll keep this very short. I know everybody's keen on focusing on networking and having their dinners, so we'll try to keep it as brief as possible while shedding some lights on some of the investment opportunities and incentives available in the UAE. So I'll start with a question, which is a general question that will help the audience get a perspective about your organization specifically. So the first question is, how's your organization contributing to industrial growth in the UAE? And maybe we could start with Your Excellency Hamid.
Thank you. It's really great to be in Pittsburgh again. It's been a long time since I was here. We enjoyed the day today with the speeches and all the information that we have heard. My name is Hamid bin Salim. I'm the Secretary General of the Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry in the United Arab Emirates. We have 7 chambers in each emirate, and we are at the federal level. We do we give lots of incentives, and also we work as a bridge of communication between the private sector and the government. We facilitate for the private sector. We have so many trips around the world where we have delegations. We bring companies to the United Arab Emirates. We make sure that they get the right information and they get all the information about the incentives that the government is given. In the last few years, the United Arab Emirates government has given so much and so many incentives to do business in the United Arab Emirates. Not just as the starting of your business, but as coming to the United Arab Emirates, living in the United Arab Emirates, and make sure that everything goes well while you stay in the United Arab Emirates. I think one of the most recent great job that the United Arab Emirates leadership has done is dealing with COVID in the last few years. This gives a very much credibility for the government and for the business around the world to come and establish their businesses in the UAE.
Thank you.
So, good evening, everyone. I'll just do a very quick intro about myself. I've been to university here in the US as well, but unfortunately not in Pennsylvania. I went to school in Florida. But anyhow, to tell you a bit about Senate, so today what we do is we provide services to the aerospace sector. And we've been doing this for the last 35 years. And actually, the US is a very important market for us. Today, the US represents the largest client base for our company, is actually coming from the US. So our clients are the likes of GE Aviation, as well as Pratt & Whitney, which basically is generating $300 to $400 million of business that is coming from the US to the UAE. A lot of people always link the UAE as being more of an importer of services, but in this case, with what we've been doing over the last 35 years, we're actually exporting our services to US companies. So I think the message that I would like to relay to the crowd here is that the UAE is a great place to do business. The UAE is geographically very well situated. One of the advantages that we have being in the UAE is also the logistics and the access to people. At the end of the day, we've been able to double the size of our business in the last 5 years, and the way we've been able to demonstrate this growth and be able to secure that business has also been through the access to talent.
Hi, My name is Ibtisam Sadia. I'm really happy to be here today. It's really my pleasure. It's my first visit to the US, and I'm really loving the people, the atmosphere, and being here today. So thank you so much for having us today. Yeah, you can pause. So actually, I'm representing the capital of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. I'm from Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development. So we are actually in charge of the economic sector of Emirates of Abu Dhabi. And we are a group of team that work together to ensure the achieving of the economic aspiration of Emirates of Abu Dhabi. So we have the competitive office that ensure the competitiveness of Emirates of Abu Dhabi and ease of doing business. So we look into all aspects, lifestyle, businesses, everything that you can expect that will make your life easier in the Emirates of Abu Dhabi, we look into that. Then come our department, which is the Industrial Development Bureau. Our responsibility is regulation, ensure the strategy of Emirates of Abu Dhabi to enhance and improve and develop the industrial sector of Emirates of Abu Dhabi. I think you had heard our chairman lately had just announced the release of Abu Dhabi Industrial Strategy. So we are happy to have that, and we have a clear vision that we will be working toward. And we also have the logistic team that ensure working very closely with all international exporter from the local market and other countries to remove any kind of barrier regarding exporting, importing, and ensure that we have one window that they can access to it and digitalize all the system. We also are supporting the SME sector, not just in the industrial sector, but also on the commercial and service provider. So we have a full department in charge of creating a strategy to support the SMEs, not just in the local market, but to ensure that they are expand, and any SMEs from any other country that is welcomed in the UAE, we are more than happy, and we worked very closely with them to support them. So this is Abu Dhabi Department of Economy in brief. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Saoud Abu Shawarib. I'm the Executive Vice President of TCOM Group and the Managing Director of Dubai Industrial City. Dubai Industrial City was launched by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, in 2004. And we consider ourselves as one of the leaders in industrial developments in the region of the GCC and the Middle East. We have more than 780 business partners operating in Dubai Industrial City, where we have designed the development to have a full ecosystem of the full supply chain. We focus on 6 zones, which is the mineral zone, base metal, food and beverage, machinery equipment, transport and chemical. And we have added also 2 extra zones, which is light industrial and logistics zones that supports the ecosystem that we provide. We are proudly saying that today we have reached in Dubai and the UAE that we really take decarbonizing the industrial sector in a very focused direction, where we at Dubai Industrial City, we generate more than 40 megawatt of power from renewable energies. And also within the ecosystem, we have brick and mortar operations up to recycling facilities, where we make sure that the waste generated from the industrial sector is recycled within Dubai Industrial City. So all these aspects are taken into consideration, which helps any industrial developer, businessman who is willing to expand in the UAE and Dubai will have a full ecosystem that can support his business. We are one of the leaders also in implementing the ministry's strategy, which is Operation 300 billion, where we've signed with the ministry an MOU last year in November in GMIS, a collaboration partnership agreement where we are one of the enablers that implement the strategy of the ministry and the direction that the country is going through. So we are proud of what we've done. And personally, I'm really happy to be here today, and we look forward to healthy discussions later during the day.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Ahmed. I'm part of Strata. I'm the head of programs and business performance. I've been with Strata from inception when the whole thing was just a desert. It started with a vision and aspirations from the leaders of the United Arab Emirates. We've constructed the facility and we've delivered our first product within 1 year. We started one production line and now we've got around 24 production lines of aerostructure components. All of these production lines are single source. There's no one else in the world is making these parts apart from us. The largest component that we're making is a collaboration with Boeing, which is the full vertical fin on the 787 aircraft. Now, the point that I would like to highlight here is that we could not have done this without the partnership with our customers, especially Boeing. We worked with Boeing in order for us to grow from one production line to the largest component that gets out of the Middle East. We started with a handful of nationals, and today 64% of the 600 employees that we have are nationals. Out of the 64%, we've got around 88% that are female. Those are qualified ladies that are able to work and produce these components to serve the aerospace world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed. I want to build on this point of your partnership with Boeing. I think it's very important, given that we have an audience here from the UAE and the US. What could be possible future partnerships? So we heard the success story on Strata, right? The aerospace industry and the partnership between Boeing and Strata in manufacturing single source parts. What could be other opportunities in the future between?
So what we have done in the past year is we focused on building our capabilities and credibility. That allowed us to, let's say, look into our strategy. And we've been focusing on what we call advanced manufacturing, disruptive advanced manufacturing. And within the disruptive advanced manufacturing, there are a number of verticals that we are focusing on. One of them is, for example, advanced materials, automation. And we've been focusing on raw materials such as composite. So we were able to strike a deal between ourselves, Solvay, which is a Belgian company, and Boeing, in order for us to produce composite material that will serve the new aircraft, which is the 777X aircraft. Without having that vision, without building our capabilities and credibility, without having the right partner, we would not be able to get into this stage. There are other verticals that we're focusing on, such as biopharma, automation, food security, water security. All of these elements are aligning with the United Arab Emirates strategy, and this is what we are focusing on.
Great, thanks, Ahmed. Mansour, would you like to add to that, given that you're from the same sector?
So I think what I would like to add is, for us, partnership is a key part of our DNA. If you look at Senate today, we work with every major engine OEM, and there's really 4 in the world. So GE, Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney, and Safran. So, and if you look at the future as well with the recovery post-COVID, there's still significant demand for aviation. So from an aerospace perspective, there's still significant growth and demand for maintenance requirements in the region. Secondly, I would say what we've done during the course of last year, we've really thought of growing our activities in an effort to not just become necessarily an aerospace service provider, so leverage the engineering excellence and the ability to finance to pivot to new sectors. So we've identified 5 new sectors that we want to grow into, including aviation. So this includes, and it would resonate with Dr. Sanjay, medical equipment is a sector that we're pursuing. We're looking at airports and supporting airports and the growth in airports in the region. We're looking at renewable energy as well, so as part of the UAE's energy transition plans. We're also looking at waste and how do we help companies become more efficient at reducing their waste. So these are really, in a nutshell, so basically what this means is there's going to be more opportunities for partnership, and because at the end of the day, we believe that doing things by ourselves, we're looking for strong partners that would like to grow with us.
Thank you, Mansour. Mansour, that is a broad spectrum of sectors, and I think it's very tied to what we heard this morning about the circular economy, the shift towards sustainability, the energy transition. But I want to go back, and sorry to the others because I don't want to leave you out, but I want to go back to one thing that Ahmed mentioned previously, and that is automation. Given that we're in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is a home for fourth IR technologies and automation, robotics, right? What could be possible opportunities for a U.S. company in that sector to do in the UAE, or who could they be partnering with? Whoever wants to start, it's open.
Okay, so in Strata, the way we've been doing business is that it's either we do the manufacturing on a daily basis, the routine manufacturing, without focusing on optimization or improvement, and that would lead to nowhere. So we had to focus from the get-go into investing in research and development, into focusing on optimizing the workflow and the production lines. And we could not have done this by ourselves. We had to invest, and we had to ensure that whatever we come up with improvements is agreed and bought off by the customer. So why don't we get the customer and the partner from the get-go, especially Boeing, into all of the improvements that we are doing. So we focused our efforts with Boeing in working together in automation, robotic drilling, and we've been able to involve this into the production line, which has been simulated in our production line at Strata and now being delivered across to Boeing in Seattle. This is one of the aspects that we've been working on. There are other aspects that we've been focusing on, especially on the inspection as well. So these are the elements that we worked with Boeing in order for us to automate the production line, but also find solutions that are replicated at Boeing as well.
Okay. Thanks, Ahmed.
Thank you.
From our perspective, I think with the strong capabilities in the Pittsburgh area with Carnegie Mellon and the focus on AI and the leadership in robotics, I think from our perspective, really our focus as a service provider is how do I become faster? How do I maintain the same quality standards and being competitive? So one of the things that we really look at is how do I help an end user or a customer being able to enhance the availability of his unit and being able to predict the cost of maintenance. So we've been looking at some AI solutions that we can ultimately be able to go and tell a customer, this is when you're going to get your engine back, this is how long your engine is going to stay on aircraft, and this is how much it's going to cost you, such that they can able to put that in their plans. So I think through this dialogue, there's a lot of opportunities that are coming up in the UAE. I think what we would like to see is more and more of this type of dialogue to bring up these ideas.
Thank you, Mansour. Your Excellency, maybe a question for you focused on financing, and what are some of the financing entities available in the UAE that would enhance growth in the industrial sector? If you can give us your perspective from the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, there is the Emirates Development Bank. That's on the federal level, and that's meant to finance the industrial sector. This I think the first bet, and that's the biggest financial support for the industry at all in all the United Arab Emirates. And also there are support for the startup and the small medium businesses all across the United Arab Emirates. In all 7 Emirates, there are support programs for that. And I would like just to add, if you allow me, doing business in UAE, UAE is a hub. The infrastructure, and I mean by infrastructure is everything, the physical system, the connectivity, airlines, ports, and the good relationship that the UAE having with all countries of the world. And the last year we started the CEPA. The CEPA is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership. And we already signed with some of countries like India, for example, and other countries as well. That gives another edge, another advantage for the bilateral relationship. So if there are a product in the UAE, either it is for the market of UAE or for the Middle East and the MENA region and other countries as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And thank you for taking the extra step and shedding some light on the value proposition of other aspects like the free trade agreements, which I think is very important when you're manufacturing. Let's be as brief as possible. I'm sorry, Ibtisam didn't give you much time, Ibtisam and Saud, but Ibtisam, if you can tell us really what is the competitive advantage of being in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, given that you bring that perspective. Some of the incentives today were mentioned by the chairman of Abu Dhabi DED, His Excellency Mohammed Sharafa. So you could give us some of the value propositions about being in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi specifically.
Okay, so Abu Dhabi had just announced the Abu Dhabi Industrial Strategy with a 10 billion will be allocated for the industrial sector for the coming 5 years, which is around 3 billion US dollar. This amount is not going to be focusing only on one sector. We had selected a targeted sector like chemical, pharma, transportation, electronic, and machinery. So what we are doing is on that sectors, we are going to be attracting some of this budget will be going for an FDI programs, like one of our program that is led with my colleague, Engineer Ahmed, the Abu Dhabi channel partner. We are working with Anchor Company to identify SMEs companies on the international to be suppliers and to come into the Emirates of Abu Dhabi and work, and we will be guaranteeing the demand and supply for those manufacturing entities. We also had provided an incentive related to the electricity and gas for our industrial sector. So we can guarantee a competitive price for gas and electricity for Emirates of Abu Dhabi that we can ensure no one else is providing it around the world. So this is one of our initiatives that's available. We also, as His Excellency had announced today, that we are reduce the rent and the land prices to less than 1.2 US dollar per square meter. So those just initiatives. This are sample of our existing initiatives. There is multiple other initiatives that we are working on, and it's already going to be launched and announced very soon. We'll be targeting to attract international investor to come and create and establish their businesses in Emirates of Abu Dhabi. We are also working with multiple international companies to improve and develop the Industry 0.4 with our industrial sector. We have we are currently building our Siri assistant. We had worked with the Ministry for the Siri assessor, and currently Abu Dhabi is working with their own assessing system that hopefully will go into a federal level as well. We are also building our competence center with MADE Italy in the Emirates of Abu Dhabi. This will help all manufacturing, all investors, all interest, or even trainer to come in one-stop shop where you can test before you buy on a level of an industrial. So it's going to be a first in the Middle East, and we are facilitating multiple
Thank you, Ibtisam.
aspects.
I have
He's
to cut it
cutting me
short.
off.
Sorry. I know. I need to just give some time to Saud
I have
real
10
quick.
billion. I need to talk about them.
I'm sorry, but given the time,
That's okay.
I think. Thank you very much. Very much. Saud, please briefly, if you can give us the value proposition of the Emirate of Dubai.
Okay. As Dubai Industrial City and Dubai were famous, Dubai and the UAE is covering 2/3 of the world population with an 8-hour flight. So this really, the UAE and Dubai became the region the gateway to the region of the Middle East and Africa and Asia. So the value proposition that we offer at Dubai Industrial City is the full ecosystem in terms of licensing, establishing your company, tapping into the network of business partners that we have. We are covering the 4 modes of transports, which is sea, air, highways, and railway transportation. So as everyone knows, Jebel Ali port is the 5th busiest port in the world, and we are 15 minutes away from the port. So this really gives, if the industrial investor is willing to tap on exporting his products to the region, Dubai and the UAE is the best hub for manufacturing facilities to be established there. And
what industries would be interested? I know over
what
dinner yesterday
industries we've noticed that there is a good trend in pharma, food and beverage, because we are implementing also the food security strategy of the UAE, renewable energy, downstream of aluminium, machinery equipment, and advanced technology. And if you give me a few seconds to talk about advanced technology, we have a high appetite for advanced technology implementation. In the past 2 years, I've been approached by companies that are willing to implement advanced technology in their new facilities. In addition to the existing traditional way of industrial sector operation, we have companies that are upgrading their process lines to implement the highest advanced technology in their operation. This will give them reduction in operational cost, manpower, since the UAE is very low in terms of manpower availability, but we really attract high talented manpower to the city. So this really gives the made in UAE product to reach international level, to emphasize on the standard that we implement in the UAE. And recently, I think 2 weeks back, we had the ISO event in the UAE where we really implement the highest ISO certification in most of our industries. So this really gives an advantage to any manufacturer establishing the UAE in Dubai to tap on the world, inshallah.
Thank you, sir. As you see, Abu Dhabi and Dubai complement each other very well.
Before you cut me off. Can I also mention that we are funding the transformation for the Industry 4.0 for manufacturing in the Emirates of Abu Dhabi? Just for you to know.
Thank you very much. And sorry for taking longer than expected. I just also want to point out that on our website, moiat.gov.ae, moiat.gov.ae, there's an industrial guide which talks about all of the industrial zones that are available, what are the incentives there, and what are some of the investment opportunities available in the country. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience, and I apologize again for taking longer.